Speaking of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, we talked about it, of course, yesterday. We talked a little bit about it with Leo Terrell last segment. And what Ruth Bader Ginsburg's family is saying, particularly we're talking about her granddaughter, is that Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wishes was to let the next president choose her seat. So there are people that are discussing that all over the place on social media, on television, even the President of the United States. We'll get to his comments on that in a second. Let's start with Tucker Carlson, who, by the way, I have zero respect for. I know he's got monster ratings, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he says the idea of white supremacy is a hoax. He said some horrible misogynistic comments in his career on radio, and I believe the man is a blatant racist. But with that being said,
I definitely do not.
Okay, so the idea of white supremacy is a hoax.
No, I didn't. Obviously, that was incorrect. Just because someone says something and it's incorrect, you love to generalize and take that one statement and have it apply to everything else in their life, and it's disgusting.
No,
yes,
it's
it
not.
is.
No, it isn't.
Obviously, white supremacy is not a
all.
hoax. Obviously, people have died at the hands of white supremacists.
So let me ask you a question.
That is very clear.
Since you said I'm disgusting, let me ask.
That is disgusting.
So let me ask you a question.
You take something like that,
if I may,
and you use that.
So if I may,
to apply.
Okay. So if I may,
the overlapping.
If I may, let me ask you a question. If I may. So,
okay, Brian, sure.
2 weeks after 22 people died in Texas, El Paso, 22 people, innocent human beings, were buried at the hands of a known white supremacist. I don't think...
Talking slower doesn't do anything.
Okay.
But all right, yeah.
What are you talking about?
No, yeah, I get it. 22 people died. Tucker Carlson said white supremacy is a hoax. I get it. He was incorrect. It's not a hoax.
Okay, so
that doesn't make him a racist. It doesn't make him a white supremacist.
So it doesn't make you right or wrong by interrupting me and not letting me finish.
It means he made a mistake.
Can I finish, please? I don't want to have to start over again. I'm sorry if you don't like if I'm talking slow. I'm talking slow, so hopefully you can understand the question.
I totally understand the question.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to understand. So please don't be disgusting and interrupt me. So let me start over again. 22 people lost their lives. I'll try to speak a little faster for you. At the hands of a white supremacist. They were just buried. It is not a mistake. Is it a mistake when Tucker Carlson goes with his very large audience and says the idea of white supremacy is a hoax? He's basically calling it a hoax when 22 people lost their lives at the hands of white. That's not a mistake. That is just blatantly, you want to use the word disgusting. That is disgusting, period. He wants to talk about two white people who paint over a Black Lives Matter sign, by the way, illegally, and he wants to call them heroes. He called them heroes for doing that, by the way. Heroes for defacing a sign that was perfectly legal. They broke the law, but if it was attacking the Black Lives Matter movement or a sign that represents minorities, he calls them heroes. That is not a hero. He also normalized what Rittenhouse did in that situation. That is why I call him a blatant racist and a piece of garbage.
What did he exactly say?
In what circumstance?
No, he said...
In what story?
He said America's white supremacy problem is a hoax. It's just like the Russian hoax. It's a conspiracy theory used to divide the country and keep a hold of power.
There is,
what he's saying there is that it's
not the full quote.
That's what I just read.
Okay, you read a couple sentences. I remember the segment, and we played it on the show. He also said the idea of white supremacy is a hoax. Quote, that is what he said. That was a part of the segment.
He said, actually, not a real problem in America. The combined membership of every white supremacist organization in this country would be able to fit inside a college football stadium.
Okay, so apparently it's not a real problem when 22 people die at the hands of a white supremacist. Apparently it's not.
Well, hold on. But you're basically saying that he's claiming that no one has ever died at the hands of white supremacists.
Didn't say that.
He clearly admits here that there are white supremacists out there.
He said
clearly.
I didn't say that. Once again,
well, that's what you're implying.
Nope.
And the fact that 20 people died at the hands of a white supremacist, obviously it is a very real thing. There are white supremacists out there. What Tucker is saying is that it is not some type of widespread problem.
Not what he said.
That's what he is saying.
Okay, what he said in the segment is the idea of white supremacy is a hoax. And by the way, we had a white supremacist here about a year ago who was planning attacks on synagogues and gay bars. He wanted to kill innocent people. And due to the great police work in this city, they found that bastard, and he's in jail right now. So yes, white supremacy is not a hoax. Sadly, it exists. Have you heard of the Klan? Have you heard of Charlottesville? Blood will not replace us. Blood and soil. All those white supremacist pieces of garbage. So Tucker could wear his little bow tie and say the idea of white supremacy is not a hoax. But anyway, I digress now. Yesterday on his show, he was talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg and the dying wish that her granddaughter says that she wanted the next president to choose her seat. Have a listen to what Tucker Carlson said on his show last night about that dying wish. Have a listen to this.
Keep in mind, we don't really know actually what Ruth Bader Ginsburg's final words were. Did she really leave this world fretting about a presidential election? We don't believe that for a second. If it were true, it would be pathetic.
If it were true, that would be pathetic. Let's just assume, and by the way, I believe her granddaughter, let's just assume for a moment what Tucker Carlson is saying, that was her dying wish. Pathetic? Again, this is the same man who calls some of our brave men and women who have lost their legs in war not patriotic.
No, he said she was a coward because
he went after her patriotism.
Because she refused to go on his show unless he admitted to her that he was wrong first. You're taken out of context again. He's not calling her a coward because she went to, or because of her time she spent in the military. He's saying that she's a coward. It was a cowardly move to not come on his show.
And once again, without
him having to say yes.
Okay, go back and
Senator Duckworth, you are correct.
Maybe you need to go back.
That's what happened.
Okay, so
Brian,
let me explain because you're 100% wrong, and I'll make a $10,000.
I'm definitely not wrong.
Okay, I'll make a $10,000 bet with you right now on the air. He also went after her patriotism. Would you like to make that bet?
What did he go after her patriotism about exactly?
He went after her patriotism.
For
He
what?
said she wasn't a patriot.
Because she said
because of policy.
No, not about policy. Because she said that George Washington and those on Mount Rushmore were traitors.
That's not what she said. Once again, you're misquoting.
Actually, she did.
Nope.
She said that Donald Trump spent a lot of time talking about traitors, which he did during his July 3rd speech.
Once again, JD, you're not factually accurate. Okay, if I can please talk.
I know Stein is sending you things, and I don't use anything. It's just all from my brain.
This has nothing to do with Stein.
But still,
this has nothing to do with Stein.
That's actually what happened there, Brian.
If I can talk now. This has nothing to do with just because something bounces off your brain doesn't mean you can say things that are incorrect. Okay, he said that she hates America. Okay, and by the way, she was talking about the Confederate statues. That is exactly what she was talking about. He went after her patriotism. If you don't believe me, or you think I'm bouncing things off my head, as you had mentioned, then go back and watch the segment if you'd like to. For Tucker Carlson to go after Ruth Bader Ginsburg now and basically say that and by the way, nobody is saying that it was her last words, by the way. There's nobody that is saying that. I don't know why Tucker Carlson is saying that. It was one of her wishes. It doesn't mean that she wished it on her last breath. So that's also an idiotic thing that Tucker Carlson said. For him to call her pathetic, if, in fact, that was one of her last wishes or one of her wishes before she died, is absurd and, to use your term, disgusting.